Hey, what's going on, everybody? How you doing? I'm Dr. Boyce Watkins. I am here in Guyana, Georgetown, Guyana, and of course, want to stay connected and kind of let you guys know what's kind of going on in the world, and give you my quick interpretation on it. Some of my videos will be a little bit shorter because the bandwidth is not as strong here, but you'll still hear from me on a regular basis. One of the things I wanted to tell you guys about is that a black CEO by the name of Kenneth Frazier, who's the CEO of Merck, actually stepped down from President Trump's manufacturing council on Monday. And he stepped down because Trump failed to condemn the white supremacists. He says that America's leaders must honor our fundamental values by clearly rejecting expressions of hatred, bigotry, and group supremacy. I think it's great that he did this. He wrote a great statement on this. He said, our country's strength stems from diversity and the contributions made by men and women of different faiths, races, sexual orientations, and political beliefs, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. America's leaders must honor our fundamental values by clearly rejecting expressions of hatred, bigotry, and group supremacy. Now, one thing in this kind of interesting, I kind of have a hard time figuring out what to make of, the idea that black people are consistently kind of lumped in with everybody else. I don't think that being black is the same as being gay, but for the sake of forming political coalitions, I guess that's kind of the rule of the day. That's kind of what people do. I think the problem with coalitions for black people, though, is that black people tend to get put at the back of the bus in these coalitions, right? So for every, Ken Frazier who gets to be the CEO of Merck, there are thousands and thousands of other black people who are left out of the economic system that was pretty much designed and invented for whites by whites. And white liberals will typically hire other white liberals before they hire black people. I mean, that's just true. That's kind of true all throughout the American economy. You go to Silicon Valley, this bastion of intellect and all this other stuff, and you're going to find that black people still get pushed to the back of the line. I personally think that the reason is because black people need to have our own businesses. We need to do three things as a black community. One, we need to educate our own children. Two, we need to build our own companies and create our own jobs. Three, we need to support black businesses. Those are three things I will always believe in. Three things you'll always hear from me. You'll hear this from me until the day I die, or until the day North Korea pushes the button, in which case it won't matter because it'll all be over with. But anyway, not to make you feel bad or anything, I just hope that this stuff doesn't get out of control. But I think that what Frazier did is commendable. I respect him for doing that and taking that stand. But I think now what makes it easier for him to do that as a black CEO is the fact that the even white people don't like Trump. A lot of white folks are kind of looking at him and thinking he's not the right guy to lead the country right now. America's at a sensitive time. You got this crazy situation, not just with North Korea, but also in Charlottesville with the white supremacists and everybody fighting. And I think that Trump's inability to lead is what's really making the situation worse. And now, what's interesting about America right now, though, that you really want to think about, is that America is getting more and more divided every year. It hasn't been this divided since the Civil War. And so basically, you're going to see it like this in every presidency. The next president, if it's a Democrat, you're going to still see chaos. Remember even when Obama was in office, you had a lot of craziness going on in Ferguson and everything else. So what I think is happening now is that you have the internet that has kind of bolstered all these different factions of people all throughout society to make all of them believe, okay, we should be running the world. Everybody's feeling emboldened because, they've got these leaders, these little leaders that have 300,000 or 400,000 Twitter followers, and they're tweeting, their message or whatever. And who knows, maybe I'm considered in that category because there are a lot of people I wouldn't be speaking to if it wasn't for social media. So I think that what you're going to see probably in the future is you're going to see greater government efforts towards censorship. Now, I told you guys what Facebook is already doing to us. They're already chopping us down, trying to kill our pages and all that. But it's okay. We've got backup mechanisms in place. But at the same time, I knew it was coming 5 years ago. And so now you're only going to see it get worse. You're going to see people that will consider, censorship to be a matter of national security. If you compare the U.S. to, say, China is a country where social control is very, very strong. There's certain things they will not allow you to even look at on the internet. Voices that won't be heard. They told Facebook, "You stay out of China. We don't need you here." And I think a lot of that's because they really want to control the message that the masses get. And if you go to China, what you'll find is a lot of conformity. If somebody speaks out against the government and the government goes and kidnaps them and kills them, A lot of people will say, well, I mean, if you didn't want to get kidnapped and killed, you shouldn't have spoke up against the government. So their mindset's very, very different. And I think in the U.S., you're going to see, people, government officials and those in power pushing in that direction. It's not going to be the U.S. that you're used to. It's only going to get more and more become more and more of a controlled society. And so, anyway, that's my 2 cents on it. I think as far as his brother leaving Trump's, commission or council, whatever it was. I think it's the right thing to do. I think it was the easy thing to do, though. I just don't think corporate America right now. Most of the liberals in corporate America are in support of much of anything that Trump is doing, and I think that right now it's kind of easy to sort of be anti-Trump, and I'm not pro-Trump or anti. I'd say if you ask me if is he the right guy for the job? No, he's not. I mean, Trump is not. What concerns me more about Trump is not so much whether he's conservative or liberal. I'm not liberal or conservative. What bothers me the most about Donald Trump is that Trump is he's mentally ill. He's not balanced psychologically. I think that he's kind of the opposite of Obama. Obama was very balanced, maybe too balanced, to be honest with you. Trump is a little bit too much in the wrong direction. Like, I think that if you had somebody that had that energy and tenacity of a Trump and he had the intelligence and the foresight of an Obama, I think that would be a great president because that person could really assertively move America forward in a productive direction. I think Trump is moving America forward in a destructive direction. I don't think he's the right guy to handle this North Korea situation. It bothers me that this mentally unstable man could literally push a button and end life as we know it. I encourage you to just be ready. Get prepared. Think about what your backup plan is going to be because I do think that this could be not so much the end of the world. I don't want to make it a doomsday prediction. I'm not doing anything like that, but I think it could definitely change a lot very quickly. And I'm hoping that they actually impeach him because I don't think he should be in office. But then again, they impeach him. I mean, you got Mike Pence right behind him, but at least Mike Pence, as interesting as he at least seems to be a measured, intelligent person in his own way. A lot of people think that because you disagree with him, that makes you stupid. Like, oh, you're not a liberal like me, so you're dumb. I don't think that way. I think there are a lot of brilliant conservatives, a lot of brilliant liberals, and I just see intelligence for what it is. So anyway, that's my 2 cents on it. I think that uh, I admire the brother's courage. He was the only black man actually on the council. So, good for him. Good for you, man. Get off the plantation, bro. I don't even know why you were there in the first place, but I guess on behalf of Merck and really at the same time, while I say I don't know why he was there in the first place, let me take that back. I think everybody in his position would consider something like that and should. I think that Dr. King had the best approach to politicians. He didn't get in the pocket of any politician, and he would meet with every politician or every leader, every president that was in office. And it didn't matter if the president agreed or disagreed with him. He would just sort of hear the person out. And I think that we do lose when we just say, I won't talk to you. I won't listen to you. I don't want to hear what you have to say. None of us should be talking to him. We're not speaking to him. I don't know if that's always the best option. I think that if you are in a position where you can speak or can be heard or can hear what they have to say, I say listen, because sometimes your enemies can actually make a better proposal to you than your friends because sometimes your enemies want to earn your friendship, so they'll give you a little bit more. So I think just as a matter of negotiation, I think at least initially sitting with a Trump wasn't a crazy thing to do. Now I'm not sure, just because I think Trump is really kind of showing his ass a little bit more, and it's just not pretty. But I think anybody who just never ever listened to anything coming out of his mouth and they worship everything Obama said, I wasn't a fan of that. I think in both cases you're kind of getting fooled, but that's just my 2 cents on it. So anyway, I'm about to get out of here. Don't forget, sign up at drboycewatkins.net to get a free class on how to start your wealth building journey. That's drboycewatkins.net. Also, don't forget that we have the All Black National Convention taking place September 29th through October 1st in Louisville, Kentucky at Simmons College of Kentucky. So you can learn more by going to allblacknationalconvention.com. That's allblacknationalconvention.com. Talk to you guys soon. I'll be checking in from Guyana. The hashtag I'm using is Dr. Boyce Guyana, Guyana. Dr. Boyce Guyana, not Ghana, Guyana. Dr. Boyce Guyana. I'm using the hashtag on Twitter and Instagram. So if you want to follow the journey and see pictures and all that's a beautiful country, that's the hashtag I'll use to document the journey. So take care. Talk to you guys soon. Love you. Peace.